Take it away.
Hello, thank you for coming. And I'm assuming we're all here. Who wants to know the secret to gut health? Obviously. Is there a secret? What we're going to learn today is that it all starts with digestion, absorption, take up. We're going to talk about the microbiome and what that is, and probiotics. Does anyone take probiotics? There are so many out there. Very confusing. And how to restore the overall balance. So, I do own Symphony Healthcare. We do holistic healthcare. We take insurances, we take Medicare. We try to combine a functional format, still utilizing your insurance as much as possible. So, it's helped numerous people to try to navigate all the ins and outs. So, high fat, high sugar diets. That's our American way of life, our SAD diet, standard American diet. We are the most overnourished, overfed, malnourished country in the world. We have food 24/7 at our disposal, snacks wherever you want, drinks, lattes, whatever you want, you can go get a snack. Not so in the rest of the world. But that food that we're eating, I call it fake food. It has been denatured. It's not what God created. It's not what your body was created to process. So all of that food, even though you think you're eating chicken nuggets and fries, you're probably not getting much benefit from any of that. So we have to really think through what we're eating and how we're eating it. Sedentary lifestyle, antibiotic abuse, all of that takes us over to the other side where all of our good guys, our good probiotics are killed off and the bad ones are allowed to take hold. The only way to get it reversed so that the good guys are in charge, diet, lifestyle, probiotics, prebiotics, anti-inflammatory foods, your phytonutrients, your brightly colored fruits and vegetables, all of the natural things that are out there that are supposed to provide the nutrition that your body is asking for when it says you're hungry. So all of that. So what we have to do first of all is remove the bad guys. If we don't remove what's causing the problem, it's almost like shooting yourself in the foot to keep trying to take probiotics, take supplements if you're still putting in the stuff that's not working. So we help educate you on what healthy foods are. Most people, doctors don't get that in school. Average person never gets that in high school. I don't know where you're really supposed to get it, other than our magazines, which aren't really a great source of information. Facebook may or may not be a good source of information. So we have to help educate you on how to read your labels, what you're looking for, and how to put things together. How to not let the foods rot in your refrigerator until you have a chance to use them. We do have ways of testing if we need to test, stool tests, saliva tests, all that type of thing. We need to replace. Digestion is huge. Digestion involves chewing, the pH in your stomach, the acids in your stomach. If all of that isn't correct, I don't care if you're eating an organic diet, you're not digesting it. So that's one thing that we need to work on. The microbiome is super important. We kill that off with the antibiotics, with other bad stuff we're doing. We'll get to that. And you have 70-80% of your immune system is in your gut. That's also where you make most of your neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are serotonin, dopamine, the happy chemicals that go to your brain. If you can't make them, how on earth are they going to go up to your brain? So we have an enormous number of people on antidepressants when perhaps there's a nutrient deficiency or they're just not able to make those neurotransmitters. And then we work on repairing, getting your liver healthy, making sure if you need to detox, we clear that out. Detox is a big business and it can be done wrong. And if it's done wrong, you feel terrible. You feel like you got the flu, you quit, and you say no more. So there's a right way and a wrong way to detox. GI Health 101. Chew your food. Seems simple. You need to chew your food because that's where your digestion starts. We get amylase, which is one of our enzymes that starts making up there, and then it's gonna go help digest the starches in the stomach. The acid in the stomach. If your stomach is not acid, you can't work on those fats and meats and beans and that stuff. So what happens when you take the purple pill or one of those other pills? What does it do to the acid level in your stomach? It changes the pH dramatically, because the acid, we're assuming, is making you hurt. So we change the pH, and now we don't have acid, you don't hurt. Problem is you also don't digest your food in that pH. So we have a big problem. Digestive enzymes. Must get digestive enzymes from the pancreas, from the gut, to digest these foods. If the bile system is a little bit sluggish, the bile acids aren't going there, and after the age of 50, we just don't do this stuff as well as we should, and they're a little sluggish. If you don't have a gallbladder, strike one, because that's supposed to store this stuff, and then when you eat, it pumps it out. Well, if all this isn't working right, I don't care what you're eating, you're not going to digest it. If you don't digest it, you can't take up your amino acids, your iron, all of your vitamins, your minerals, and you're sunk. So it all starts here. Probiotic biofilm helps to protect that small intestinal layer. This is the perfect world. So we're going to do a little experiment here. You're going to close your eyes, and you're going to imagine as if you have a lemon in your hand. Nice yellow lemon. Roll it around. It's kind of squishy. You're squishing it. You can maybe smell some of that limonene that's coming off of the rind as you're kind of rolling it in your hand. Next thing is you're going to imagine that you take a knife and you cut that lemon. And as you cut it, you see the juices come out. You can smell the juices. They just are lighting up your senses. You can feel it on your hands. What's going on inside your mouth?
Waters.
So there's no lemon in the room. Not at all. So you see, Debbie already did it, the power of the mind. It's amazing. If we lose that barrier integrity, we get what I call leaky gut, which is quiz number 1. So you can look at that when you're all done. Leaky gut is another catchword for intestinal permeability. It just means we've lost our protective layer. We don't have what's needed to keep us from having the bad guys. The little black star is a germ. That germ is not supposed to get through. If we have an irritated gut lining and we've lost that nice microbiome, those germs, those bad guys get into the bloodstream. The only way you get food allergies as an adult is leaky gut. So if anyone was great as a kid and now it's like, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, we need to check your gut, because that is the only way that you get food allergies. Things that destroy that layer we already went through. Antibiotics, number 1. It can take 3 to 6 months or more of probiotics to restore the gut integrity after 1 round of antibiotic. Which is why we try not to prescribe them, and we try to, do things more naturally. That's a long time to try to restore. And then people, get 1 antibiotic, come back and say, oh, it didn't work, I need another one. You add steroids to that for when you have asthma or pneumonia, and we have more problems. Bad foods, the American diet. Bad drinks. We doctor up our drinks immensely, and our Powerades and all those things. The chemicals in there, the preservatives in foods, just are not good for the gut microbiome. Germs, parasites, yeast, bacteria, there's numerous out there. We carry them, we harbor them, they like to live in there and can create some symptoms. And stress will change the pH in your body, guaranteed. So, we'll get to it in a minute. But stress is a killer, and it's really harmful to us. So if we can get the digestion going better, and we can get the absorption going better, you can see how the inflammation will decrease. Almost every autoimmune disorder is related to inflammation. And we have more now. I've been in nursing for well over 30 years. Nurse practitioner for about 20 some. And I started out in pediatrics. An obese kid was an anomaly. Truly, we didn't even learn about that in my master's program. It was like, okay, if the kid's obese, he's got a thyroid or a glandular problem, that's the way it is. Not so anymore. We have kids with type 2 diabetes. We have kids with a lot of autoimmune stuff. We have a big time flare up now of lupus for some reason. These are all autoimmune. They started with an unhealthy gut. So, if you had a Lamborghini, stream, what would you put in that Lamborghini when you go to the gas station?
Expensive gas.
Yeah, not gonna put the cheap stuff, are you? You bring home a new little puppy. What are you gonna feed your new little puppy? Are you gonna get the cheap puppy chow from Walmart? Or are you gonna maybe read the labels? And when you're reading the labels, you're gonna do some investigation and figure out what's gonna keep this puppy healthy, bright eyes, good skin, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna research it. So we need to do the same thing for us. Take the same care you would for your car, for your puppy, for your kids. Do it for yourself. Read the labels and know what's going in you. Some people, wheat and dairy may not work for you. Some people it might. No one knows. The jury's out. Is it glyphosate or is it wheat? It's pretty impressive when you can go to Europe and eat their bread and not have a problem. So it's probably glyphosate, but it's just safe to say no wheat. But if it doesn't work, that's one of our offending agents. If it doesn't work, take it out. And we've heard of adverse reactions to foods. There's allergies, sensitivities, and intolerances. The only one that the allergists care about is the IgE. That's the peanut allergy where, kid eats peanuts and anaphylactic and go to the ER and get the EpiPen. Allergists don't really care about the rest of this. The problem is that there's an IgG sensitivity that's a delayed response. That can be 72 hours. So trying to do a food log and figure this out can be a little bit of a challenge, but you're not looking for an allergy, you're looking for a response, a symptom. The intolerance, we have a lot of people who just do better without milk or milkshakes. Then that just means you have an intolerance. Not allergic, you're not gonna get anaphylactic, fine, but stay away from the stuff that causes symptoms. Eating nachos, gives you indigestion, makes you bloated, makes you not feel good. You know that going in, you kind of decide is it worth it or not. But there are times when food or the proteins of the foods can actually be an enemy. And we need to appreciate that and work with it. If it was your kid, you would keep your kid away from the food. We as adults and as humans, we have the ability to make all these factories, make all this fun food because we like it. It tastes good, it smells good, but it's not doing us good. So we need to be able to take a step back, be mindful of it. Is this going to feed me? Is this going to be sustenance or is it fun? And there's a big difference between the two. The non-anaphylactic responses are basically 95%. And at the bottom, it's not just bloating, but anything skin related is gut related. Psoriasis, eczema, hives, the little bumps on the back of your arms, all skin things, just about all, will originate with the gut integrity. Headaches are big, fibromyalgia flare-ups, start looking at what you're doing. Throat clearing, one of the best lessons I ever learned from an ear, nose, and throat guy was people who wake up in the morning and have to clear their throat. They're not sneezing, they're not sniffling, they don't itch, But it's like every morning for a couple hours, you're just kind of clearing your throat, you've got mucus in there. That is reflux, silent reflux. And we need to listen to every symptom that, I listen to every symptom you come in with and start putting that together, and people are like, I don't have reflux, I'm fine. I guarantee that your nose and throat guy, when he looks down your throat, will tell you you've got reflux. So I'm learning from some of the things that come back. So you don't have to have horrible belly pain. You don't have to be taking the pills. Some of these other things make a difference. Chronic sinus stuff, chronic ear stuff. We need to look at other issues. Dark eye circles especially. You can spend $500 on an allergy test, or you can do your own elimination test. I find it easier to start with your own elimination test, and then if you still have problems after a few months, then maybe you need something a little bit more in depth. The stuff that we do through Quest is IgE only, so more often than not, they're not really showing much up, but you know that something's bugging you. The $500 other tests that test the white blood cells can also change every 6 months based on what you're doing. It's an awful lot of money to spend when things might change, and you're going to avoid the thing that bugs you anyway. So unless it's chemicals, preservatives, supplements that you want to test for, then if it's food, I think the elimination works great. After a couple weeks without it, you're going to be like a baby. When you have a brand new baby, one food every 3 days, and then you wait. The kid does fine, you can add one more food. 3 days, wait. Same with you. Liver, we talked about detox. This is an hour-long presentation condensed to 30 minutes. Liver has phase 1, phase 2. If you do your detox wrong, you're going to feel pretty ill. So what we need to do is get phase 2, which means the elimination phase, before we do phase 1. Most of the over-the-counter detox stuff just hits you hard with supplements. You're doing phase 1, which changes your stuff that's being eliminated into toxic metabolites that will attach to the water and can be eliminated. You better be eliminating those quickly, or you're going to rebuild or build those toxins back up. So you've got to do it right. Your disposal system, I wish we had one. And honestly, 2 years ago, went to a seminar. There's a new stomach surgery that is a disposal system, where they poke a hole in here, kind of like a G-tube would go, and after you've eaten, you suck out the food. So my question was, aren't you going to lose nutrients? Aren't you going to create a problem here? They're like, no, this is for the people who can't control what they're eating. They can, okay. So they're coming up with new procedures to take care of what we should be doing as mindful eating and taking care of ourselves, but that's kind of gotten out of hand. They also have a revision procedure now for gastric bypass that people regain weight. That doesn't seem right either. So, what can you do? Choose clean foods. Doesn't have to be organic. The clean and the dirty food lists, choose them or watch them as far as don't get products that are not organic that are on the dirty list. But other than that, if God created it, great grandma would recognize it, it's probably okay. You take it home from the store, you do something with it, awesome. Not the factory. Because it's in the factory, it's processed, it's heated up, it's irradiated, stuck in a package, trucked across the country, has preservatives to make it last 6 months, and then you microwave it. You totally denatured it. Microwaving denatures water, and every chemical, every nutrient, it changes the structure.
Is heat?
Not heat. So, grandma, before microwaves, I introduced my mom to the microwave. I could shoot myself for that, but this is great. We can cook in whatever. Prior to that, what did everyone do? They didn't have a microwave. They had a stove. They maybe had a toaster oven. They had skillets and saucepans.
Yep.
They survived. Did great. Now we have the microwave generation, and there has to be something going on in our food system, whether it's chemicals or whether it's microwave, whether it's glyphosate, who knows what, but the amount of diseases that I have seen, that I have diagnosed cancers and autoimmune stuff in the past year is way too many. Way too many. You know, people come to me, I don't feel good, so we start doing tests. It's like, okay, well, man, you got lupus. You know, I don't know how long it takes to get lupus, but I guarantee we need to be doing this stuff. So wheat, dairy, soy, the top three. Sugar, obviously. Everyone's got their offending agents. You need to figure out what that is. Good fats. Why women are afraid to eat fat is beyond me. But we have to eat fat, and it has to be healthy fat. We'd rather not have animal fat. We want plant fat. But without fats, the nervous system, myelin sheath, all that stuff doesn't work. Kids with ADHD do great when you add in fish oils. So don't be afraid to eat fats. The other thing, the American way of life, if we can flip it on its edge and instead eat one of the first two meals as your largest, and for a lot of people lunch is the easier one to do that. Dinner's your smallest meal. We usually do the least amount of effort after dinner. We also don't want to go to bed with food in the stomach because then the whole digestive system is still working when you're supposed to be regenerating. We want an empty digestive system. So snacking at night, alcohol at night, all that stuff is stimulating the digestive system. So calm it all down. It can do its job. Rest, rejuvenate, wake up, refresh. So the gut microbiome does harbor bad guys, but just in relationship, it should be the right balance. So we have good guys, we have bad guys.